When you move to Omaha, you might see the relatively low home prices and cost of living being advertised as a great selling point for Omaha. But there are some hidden costs to living in Omaha that I am going to let you know about. My name is Morgan Putnam, and I am a local real estate agent. Let's get into it. Thank you so much for stopping by the Omaha Insider YouTube channel. Please take a moment to subscribe so you're always the first to know what's going on in Omaha. The first thing cost of living in Omaha is the yard maintenance and snow removal, and you need to be prepared for this. So more and more people are moving towards having their lawns professionally maintained. And the yard maintenance season is really from the beginning of April through about the beginning of November. So it's actually very long. And sometimes it can drag it further into November, and sometimes it can even start in March, especially with that early season fertilizer and the different things to get your yard ready for growing season. And so more and more people are hiring this done. It's becoming kind of more standard. And so that is a long time of having this monthly expense for people to maintain your yard. There's a lot that goes into it. It's obviously the regular mowing, and during the spring and fall, the grass can grow a lot. So you might end up needing your yard mowed a couple of times a week during those heavy growing seasons. During the high heat of the summer, you usually don't. Once a week is normally totally fine. This does add up because you also have to then include different fertilizations throughout the year. And another great option is just to let your yard kind of go a little wild and let it turn into its more like native plants and do something that's lower maintenance. But if you participate in maintaining a regular traditional lawn, this can end up being pretty expensive. Now, on top of that, there's also snow removal. So Nebraska has seen less and less snow over the last few years, but it is still a factor. If you contract for somebody to come and remove your snow, then that is just something you need to budget for. If you live on the east side of like 132nd Street and East, typically you have some large trees in your yard, and so having somebody come and clean up the leaves in the fall is generally a good idea. Even if you maintain your own yard, leaf cleanup can become a lot because there are a lot of big trees on the east side of 132nd. Obviously, this is completely optional and you can always do your own yard work and snow removal, but it's becoming more and more standard for people to hire this done. The second hidden cost to living in Omaha is the utility expense. So as I was saying, we have these very hot months and these very cold months. So December, January, February, and part of March can be very cold. And then about the end of June to about the mid-September, it is very hot. And so the AC and the furnace will be running a lot during these months to keep the house at a decent temperature. And Omaha overall has pretty low cost for energy, but it's good to plan on and to budget for pretty high expenses. So for like a 2,500 square foot house in Omaha, it might be around $300 a month, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on your usage during those peak heat and peak cold months, just so you're aware. Another hidden cost is the very high property taxes we have in Omaha. So Omaha, it can range anywhere from about 2% to 3% to a little bit more than 3% for a tax levy. Your house is assessed by the county assessor, and then that value will be multiplied by the tax levy, and that's how much you'll owe every year on taxes. So this can change your monthly payment wildly depending on where you're at in Omaha and the value of your home. Suburbs that are in sanitary improvement districts tend to be pretty high for property taxes because they have that extra SID charge on their property taxes. So it is pretty normal for it to be 2.4 to about 2.8. That 3% levy is mostly up in Bennington is where we see it, which is on the north side of Omaha. In like the center heart of Omaha, it's right around 2% to 2.1. So this can change your monthly payment anywhere from like $300 to $1,000 or more a month. Number 4 for hidden costs of living in Omaha, it is home maintenance. So obviously every home has to be maintained no matter where you're at in the United States, but because of the extreme heat and the extreme cold that we experience here, it can really lead to homes having issues faster than what you're going to see in other parts of the United States. With the freeze and thaw cycle, it can be really detrimental for concrete, even with best efforts. And even in new construction homes, we just tend to see cracked concrete really easily. And it's really easy to end up with straight creep, which is if there's no expansion joint in your driveway, then the freeze thaw cycle will push against the foundation of your house and move your foundation a little bit. With the storms that we experience, roofs don't always make it through their life expectancy because of another storm coming out of nowhere nowhere. And so I would just say that this weather in Omaha is really tough on houses and will lead to you having to be diligent on maintaining your home. Even like things like exterior paint, because sometimes we'll have wind blowing from weird ways and maybe blowing snow or rain with big gusts of wind along the side of your house. It can lead to your house needing to be painted more often, or just staying on top of things like that that you wouldn't necessarily think about in a different climate. It's good to budget 1 to 2% of your home's value for home maintenance every year, and hopefully you don't always have to use that, but then to grow that reserve, grow up that savings, so then when it is time to do something major, a big replacement, then you'll have the money set aside for it. Another hidden cost of living in Omaha can be the unexpected weather events. These unexpected weather events have had a pretty big impact on insurance premiums, and so it's different now to get insurance on your house, and it's good to do your due diligence so you're aware of what it costs to replace your roof if that happens. The unexpected events can also lead to like water in the basement, and so that's another thing to check with your insurance. What will your insurance cover if there is water in the basement? If it's just like groundwater, oftentimes that's not covered by insurance. Then you as the homeowner are on the hook for remediating any sort of water that comes into the basement. It can really add up and be expensive. And so it's important to know what insurance covers, to really have a good relationship with your insurance agent, to make sure that you know all of the details of your insurance policy, what they will actually cover in the event of an weather event that happens pretty regularly here in Nebraska. And the last hidden expense is the toll that the Omaha roads will take on your car. There are a lot of potholes in Omaha, and that can lead to a lot of maintenance issues with your car, whether it's popped tire or messing up the alignment on your tires. And then also the Omaha is quite sprawling, and so you can spend a decent amount of time in your car just getting between home and work. And obviously that just has a lot of wear and tear on a car to be in it regularly, and particularly with Omaha roads being what they are. Thank you so much for watching this video about the hidden costs of living in Omaha. If you have anything that I missed, please drop it in the comments. Feel free to reach out anytime at www.heymorganputnam.com, or you can call me at 402-720-9886.